The day ended with Jesus inviting his disciples to cross the Sea of Galilee. They left the crowds behind, eager for rest. The familiar boat rocked gently as Jesus settled in the stern and fell asleep. The disciples, seasoned fishermen, felt at ease under the starlit sky. The water was calm, the night peaceful. But the Sea of Galilee is unpredictable. Suddenly, the stars vanished behind thick clouds. A cold wind swept down from the hills. The breeze turned into a moan, then a howl. The disciples exchanged uneasy glances. Darkness deepened, swallowing the moonlight. The air grew tense, the water restless. The boat began to pitch and roll. The peace of the evening was gone. The disciples sensed something was wrong. This was no ordinary change in weather. The sea, so familiar, now felt ominous. Fear crept in as the wind grew stronger. The journey that began in calm was about to be tested by chaos. The disciples braced themselves, uncertain of what was coming. The darkness gathered, and the storm began. The storm struck with terrifying force. Wind screamed, tearing at the sail. Waves towered, crashing over the sides. The boat was tossed like a toy. Water flooded the deck, soaking the disciples. They bailed desperately, but the sea was relentless. Their strength faded as the storm raged on. Fear gripped even these seasoned fishermen. This was no ordinary storm. It felt otherworldly. The boat groaned, threatening to break apart. The disciples shouted, but their voices were lost in the chaos. All their skill was useless against the fury of the sea. In the midst of the chaos, Jesus slept. Waves crashed, wind howled, but he remained at peace. His calm was a stark contrast to their panic. The disciples stared at him, bewildered. How could he sleep through this? The storm seemed determined to swallow them whole. Helpless, the disciples faced the limits of their own power. The tempest raged on, demanding a response. The disciples reached their breaking point. Exhausted and terrified, they rushed to Jesus. They shook him awake, voices trembling with fear. "Teacher, don't you care if we drown?" Their plea was raw, desperate, a cry for help and a test of faith. In that moment, they saw only a man asleep, not the one who could save them. The storm had stripped away their confidence. They needed more than comfort, they needed a miracle. Their faith wavered as the boat threatened to sink. The question hung in the air. Did he have the power to save them? The disciples waited, hope and fear mingling in their eyes. The storm's fury demanded an answer. Jesus awoke, calm amid chaos. He stood, facing the raging storm. Wind whipped around him, waves crashed at his feet. He raised his hand, not in panic but with quiet authority. The disciples watched, breathless. Jesus spoke, "Quiet, be still." His words cut through the storm, not shouted but commanding. Instantly, the wind stopped. The waves flattened. The sea became as smooth as glass. Silence fell, deeper than the roar that came before. The disciples stared in disbelief. The chaos vanished, replaced by a holy stillness. The power in his voice was undeniable. The storm had no choice but to obey. The disciples felt awe and fear mingle within them. They realized they had witnessed something beyond human power. The man they followed had authority over creation itself. The impossible had happened before their eyes. The storm was gone, but a new question remained. Who was this man? The answer lingered in the silence. The clouds parted, revealing stars above a perfectly calm sea. The boat floated in utter stillness. The disciples, still trembling, stared at Jesus. Awe replaced their fear. Jesus looked at them gently. "Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith?" His words were not a rebuke, but an invitation to trust. The disciples could not answer. They whispered among themselves, "Who is this? Even the wind and the waves obey him." The question echoed in their hearts. They had seen miracles before, but this was different. The one in their boat was more than a teacher. He was Lord over all creation. In the stillness, they began to understand. Faith, not fear, would carry them through every storm.